What is fashion? Is it what everyone else is wearing, what the media dictates, or our own personal style and taste? Is fashion determined by the times we live in, what we do for a living, how much money we have to spend, or indeed where we live? Do we dress for ourselves or for the outside world? Or for those people who know nothing about us, but whom we'd like to impress? Do we dress to be noticed, or in fact the opposite, to blend in? So do you shop often here in Belfast?
I do, yes. I'm a shopaholic. I love shopping.
And how do you feel about Belfast as a shopping city?
Oh, it's brilliant. Since Victoria Square opened, it's amazing. Like, so many different shops to choose from, and like Castlecourt as well. And the Royal Avenue's been so developed now recently, so there's lots of shopping, lots of choice.
Oh, well, Dublin for me always was the best type of shopping because there were so many, but now I would say, because of this new centre, we're maybe on a par with Dublin, with Brown Thomas and the beautiful jewellers that they had down south. Definitely, I'd say we're maybe on a par. We don't have all the lovely musicians that Dublin has, but maybe we'll get there eventually.
What designers are you into at the moment?
Well, my friend was on to discuss because I just purchased a Chanel bag. I love Chanel, and although I do, I like Reiss, for just everyday sort of clothes as we dress. I'm trying to get a cream one the same. It's just out of Reiss, so. And they've now brought it here, where you had to go to London or somewhere now to get it, but there's sort of more and more shops are coming here.
So Reiss has just come to the Victoria Shopping Centre, so it entices you to come in here?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And when you're shopping, what normally influences what you buy? Is it price or designer?
Definitely price. I'm a student.
Creativity, something different. Definitely the price is a big factor. Something different, and it has to meet my price too. And if the shop girl doesn't speak to me, I definitely wouldn't shop there.
So customer service is a big aspect for you?
Yes, definitely.
Right. And do you think that Belfast, in comparison to Dublin and London now, is one of the main players for a fashion city?
In terms of shopping, maybe, but I don't know about like fashion, whether it's got the London or New York style fashion weeks. I don't think I could really take off in a place like Belfast. But
why not?
I think it's too small.
Do you plan to shop more now after this?
Well, definitely.
We're the Crankies, and we're not here for Fashion Week. We were here
at the Europa Hotel for the Integrated Education Society.
We did the cabaret last night, but we're happy to see that it's a Fashion Week in Belfast, and I am a very fashion conscious person. This is a Gézeray coat. This is a Gézeray, and I like it because the actual structure of the clothes is very short. I also only take a size 1 in a shoe, and there's only one shop in the whole of Britain that I can buy them, and that's in York Street off Baker Street, and it's called the Little Shoe Shop. So have a lovely time. Bye-bye.
The Victoria Square Shopping Centre opened in March 2008 and has already become the new heart of the city, playing host to the Belfast Fashion Week, already in its 5th year. And this year promises to be the biggest and best, with top retailers, brands, up-and-coming designers, and for the very first time, Belfast hosts Northern Ireland's first ever Fashion and Retailer Awards. The demand for vintage clothing is on the increase, and 3 of Belfast's most popular vintage stores are showing at this year's Fashion Week. So what does Belfast have to offer those die-hard fans of vintage? Emma went to Oxfam Vintage on Castle Street, Belfast, to find out more.
With Belfast being a much smaller city than Dublin, it's very concentrated. The people who would be interested in fashion, you wouldn't have as large market to supply to, so that maybe would be one problem in Belfast, that there's just not the amount of people interested in, but it is growing, and we're quite lucky here with being a town that has university at Queen's, and we also have the art school as well, which is quite nearby. We do get a lot of students and people through, so it's a constantly changing
so
group of people
high
that come
demand
through.
for this
vintage
clothing all the time.
It's growing as well. I think as well in the last couple of years it's getting better press, with people like Kate Moss talking about it, as sort of taking it out of that sort of vintage clothing, away from the second-hand look, and into things that people can actually wear. And a lot of people are still need to take that step forwards, because a lot of people are scared of vintage because they don't know how to wear it or how to accessorise with it. But with other models beginning to wear it and people in magazines wearing it, people are actually taking cue from them and beginning to wear it.
What will be like your main selling point over other competitors within Belfast?
I think we have very good range. We also have very good price. That with being a charity shop, we're able to lower prices and be able to compete with people in other bits of the high street, which is good news for us.
So can you show me some of your favourite pieces here in the shop?
Well, at the minute, the Frank Usher dress in the corner is my favourite.
Where did that come from?
It was donated.
Donated as well.
Yeah.
Liberty Blue in Lombard Street is a vintage store with a difference. Its quirky interior, with an exotic twist, stocks new vintage clothing and is showing at this year's Belfast Fashion Week. And last but not least, we spoke to Miss Tracy, owner of Previously Loved, another popular vintage store in Belfast City.
So Miss Tracy, you're the brains behind Previously Loved. How did it all begin?
Well, basically, I live in Breeze Vintage, and I've always been interested in vintage as personally. So I've worked in the high street for 24 years with big high street names, and decided to turn my hobby into a business, basically. And Previously Loved was born a year and a half ago.
And so this is your first time at Belfast Fashion Week?
Yes, it is indeed, yes. And I'm really pleased to be part of it and doing a sort of different sort of slant to Fashion Week. Kathy and I discussed doing something differently rather than the normal catwalk show. Because vintage pieces are like works of art, we thought we'd sort of do it like showing obviously the key trends for fall, but obviously tying it in that these are like maybe 30, 40 years old and they still be able to sit in fashion. So it was a whole sort of like art exhibition as well, because some of them are like works of art.
Now you have a lot of garments here on show. Which one is your favourite, and if you could talk us through it?
The favourite, obviously, my big piece is the Vivienne Westwood, which was has only been worn by Christy Turlington in the 1993 Anglomania launch. This was the infamous show that Naomi fell off her platforms at. So this is the actual dress that Christy Turlington wore, so you can see that in the brief.
Do you think the fashion scene in Belfast is sometimes overlooked by those happening in London and abroad?
I think it is, and actually I think really now there's a real vibe about fashion and sort of street style and everything in Belfast. And I think the 20-somethings to the 30-somethings have never had it so good as far as their choice, because when I was certainly growing up, there wasn't as many boutiques, there wasn't as many retailers here. So I think they're they have so much choice, but it's great to see them. They mix and match, and there's a great sense of style within Belfast, which is great.
So how did the idea come about to set up Annette Shoes?
Oh, well, basically, I set up the company about 7.5 years ago, and I was working for a major shoe retailer previous to that. So I found that there was a real niche in the market that we could fulfill.
So who are your main inspirations? Is it the French life, or is it...
Well, every season I research into the different themes and trends that are predicted to be relevant into the next season. So, for example, for autumn-winter that we're in at the moment, there was a real trend for a burlesque kind of finish of a shoe, and the Renaissance, like the French Renaissance, which would resemble this kind of detailing. We also believe that the shoes should be really comfortable, high quality is really good, and that's obviously what the demand is, especially in these times, is for things to last and attention to detail, and also fun.
And is there any designers here that you're looking forward to seeing during the week?
I think there's a great selection of designers at Belfast Fashion Week, and it will be a really enjoyable occasion just to see all the autumn-winter collections from everybody coming together. It'd be very exciting.
Well, about 25 years ago, I actually started with working with another cosmetic company, and basically just stayed within the industry since then, and just I've seen it grow. Very much so, especially Belfast, because Belfast, it used to be, you'd be lucky if you got maybe 3 or 4 salons, beauty salons. 25 years ago, there was very little. Now it has just expanded, it's exploded.
And do you feel like occasions such as the Belfast Fashion Week has helped the makeup industry, model industry to kind of explode?
Yeah, absolutely. Before, people used to always go to Dublin. You know, if they wanted something special to wear or something, they would have went to Brown Thomas in Dublin or something like that. Now they don't have to go to Dublin; they can just come here to Belfast. We have so many variations. You know, the world's your oyster here now.
And what influences you when you're doing your makeup on a model? Is it their colouring themselves or the trends of the season?
It would be a number of factors. It possibly can be a little bit of the trend of the season, but you would be really going by the models themselves, like their eye colouring, their skin colouring, the hair colouring and things like that. Anybody, I believe, can wear any colours. It's just variations of colours.
And if you had to give 3 top tips for putting on your makeup, what would they be?
Concealer is a big definite, yeah. Always have a concealer in your bag. Always have a lip pencil to even fill in the lips, and then put your lip gloss on over that, and a good foundation.
We caught up with Lucy Evangelista, Miss Northern Ireland 2005, to hear how she broke into the world of modelling.
Oh, my sister. She just pushed me into it. We were going to go on a night out, which I thought, and landed at one of the heats for Miss Northern Ireland, and she pushed me up on stage, and I got through, and then went to the final, and obviously won that. So,
and how's the whole experience?
It's just been phenomenal. Like, it's really, my career's starting to take off now. Once the whole Miss Northern Ireland and Miss UK is over, then you can sort of move towards the more fashion stuff. So no, it's been fantastic.
And did you always want to be a model, or just something?
An air hostess. Always wanted to be an air hostess. Just go and travel everywhere, but no, it hasn't worked out that way yet.
And do you find that it's easy to get modelling work here in Northern Ireland, or do you have to go to other places to look for it?
I actually went to Australia a couple of years ago, and I worked full-time out there, and because I had won the Miss Northern Ireland, it was easier for me to get work through that. But now I'm down in Dublin now, so my main agency is Assets in Dublin, so I get a lot of work throughout Ireland with them. So it's good. It is good.
And is there any designers you'd like to work with in the future?
There's actually a designer, a couple of ones in Belfast. There's Una Rodden and Mary Rose, and their stuff is absolutely phenomenal. It's actually on Belfast Fashion Week this year.
So Derek, you're the founder of Assets Model Agency. When did it all begin?
16 years ago in April, so still hanging in there.
Very good. And how were you inspired to set up the whole agency?
Oh, I was looking at, I knew when I was 11 years of age I wanted to produce fashion shows and own a model agency, so it was never an effort. It was always going to be a success, and it's gone from strength to strength.
And what were the main obstacles you came about when you were setting it up?
Well, I suppose the registered competitors at the time, there were some very big agencies in Ireland, and I had to overcome them, defeat them and get their clients, and that's what I did within about 7 months.
And when you're scouting for models, what do you look for?
You're looking, well, I mean, the look changes. The look at the moment is actually quite plain. You're looking for a blank canvas, something that you can work with, girls that have lots of different looks, as opposed to your stereotypical beauty queen with lots of hair and lots of makeup. Somebody with strong features, healthy features, a reasonable body weight. I'm not into this size 0. It doesn't work in Ireland, and I hope it never does. The girls are generally, most models in Ireland, about a size 10 up to a size 16. We do have a couple of girls who are size 8s, but no size 6s, nothing like that.
And today at the fashion shows, do you have a range of sizes from 8 to 16?
Yeah, today the girls are generally, we have from 8 to size 12 on this show today, but last night's show, Kathy's show, she had from 8 to 18 on the show. So you have to show a variance right across to suit all general members of the public.
And what models do you have on your books at the moment that we know?
Well, girls, as you would have known, Colin Farrell is the next model with Assets, who was there with us for 6 years. You'd have Amanda Byram, who presents the Swan in America. She was one of my models for 8 years. Let me see, all the current Miss Ireland. Rosanna Davison, ex-Miss World, from 2 years ago. Glenda Gilson, who'd be one of the big models here in Ireland. And really anybody who's worked well in television or anything in the last 10 years, at some stage or another, has come through our books, you know.
Now, you're saying that Ireland looks for the conventional model. Do you think that'll change in years to come? Or?
Not really. I think we're looking at, because we're on the side of Europe, we kind of set our own standards. Although we do follow trends, it's not as nearly as intense as you would get on the international circuits. For example, models can be finished after a season in a city. They have to move on. Whereas in Ireland, models can work for up to 10 years if they're professional and they're good. Work abroad for a season, come back, work abroad for a season and come back. So they have much more longevity here. And again, girls and guys can work a lot older here than they can on the international scene, which is the way it should be. Because at the end of the day, these skinny children walking up and down ramps in Milan and Paris, real people don't wear those clothes. They're not old enough to wear them in the first place. You can't have a girl who doesn't have boobs wearing a dress that needs a boobs for a woman who's 25. It's as simple as that.
And do you have any tips for any girls out there who would aspire to be a model?
Well, the first thing to do is, if you're in a city that you don't know of the lay of the land, you check with the editorials in the magazines. Go into a top hairdressing salon and find out what models, where they get their models from. Do not pay money to anybody you meet in the street or take cards off people you meet in the street. Research it on the internet, but go by the credit you see in standard magazines, top hairdressing salons, or people that you know in the business. All you should ever have to pay for is your pictures. After that, it's up to them to find you work or point you in the right direction. Do not do modelling courses. Do not, if you have to go on a diet to be a model, you shouldn't be a model. Just little tips.
And now for the show, for this season's hottest designs.
So what do you think of the fashion show?
I thought it was very, very good. Very, very well put together. Very exciting stuff to watch. And the models are beautiful. Yes.
And was this the first fashion show of Belfast Fashion Week that you've been at?
Yes, it is indeed. It's the first fashion show I have been to. And roped me into coming. Wasn't that keen to start with, but yeah, it was very, very good. I enjoyed it very much.
And would you come again?
I certainly would, yes.
And how did you find it?
I thought it was fantastic, yes. I really enjoyed it. Loved to see the models, and especially the male one. He was fantastic.
Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My name is Kirsty Stewart. I'm from Enniskillen in County Fermanagh. I started modelling when I was about 17. So I just kind of fell in with the right people, started doing great shows like Fashion Week, and I've been doing Fashion Week now for 5 years.
Very good. So, and do you do modelling full time, or do you do
not anymore. Like I have a full-time job back at home in Enniskillen. I work for the family business, so I'm very much committed to that. You know, I used to do the modelling full-time, but there's a lot more stability in the family business.
And do you find it hard to get work in the north, or do you have to go elsewhere?
Well, whenever I was working in the north, like, it was great because, you know, if there's like two main agencies, if you like, and everybody goes to those two main agencies, and if you're one of the good girls, you get a lot of work. But then when you start to explore the bigger world, there's so many different places you can get girls from, and there's so much more competition. So, like Belfast, although there mightn't be that much work, you're guaranteed to get work, because, you know, if you're one of from a good agency, obviously you're going to get the work. So
what changes have you seen?
Changes, the amount of people that come to Fashion Week now, it's just unbelievable. We used to be in a very small venue, and it used to be maybe 100, 200 people that used to come to the show, and it used to be so packed and busy, and the runway would be narrowed down by people sitting on it, because now we have a bigger venue, we have more space, and the sponsors, West Coast Cooler, have always been very supportive, and the makeup artist, we've had the same makeup artist for 5 years. He brings great support. Paddy McGurkin, Herbie Michael Quinn, like the big top people in Belfast that you would want working on your face and your hair are actually here doing the work. So, and there's loads of people are willing to showcase their clothes, high street designers, second-hand shops, everything. Everybody pulls together and just has a great collection. Like, yeah.
My name is Julianne Graham, and my label is Curious Tales, and I'm originally from Belfast. I moved to London to study fashion in Central St Martin's, and then I moved back home, and then I set up Curious Tales sort of fairly recently after a long period that I spent working in community arts. I mean, I always had been interested in things that, I mean, in my degree collection, I used a lot of old Indian fabrics, kind of antique fabrics, and I'm always interested in things that have a history to them. So that's why I really love using second-hand, recycled, and vintage materials, because they all have a story behind them. And basically, you know, somebody's worn it before you, somebody's gone and they've had adventures, and they've, there's characters and stories in there, and that's why I write a little story and put it on the inside of each jacket. So.
And what are your plans for the future for your line?
For my line, just basically to keep making jackets, and eventually move into a whole range of clothes. So at the moment it's really jackets, corsets, bustles. I'd like to do skirts and trousers and everything. So.
Miss Minette, you just won Best Accessories Award. Do you think all the hard work has paid off?
Well, I'm absolutely tickled pink to win the Accessories Award, and it has been a long, hard 7.5 years, but it is beginning to pay off now, and we're just absolutely delighted with winning the award and the new collections.
And do you think the award is going to enhance the popularity of your collections?
Well, I think each season our brands become more popular, and MinetteShoes.com, our internet site, is building up, and there's a lot more excitement around about Minette and neat shoes.
So congratulations, enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Tracy, congratulations, you won the Ambience and Attitude Award. How do you feel?
I'm totally really excited. I'm really, really delighted. I'm just so excited that Previously Loved is loved so much, so I am delighted. It's a very special night. I've never won anything in my life, so this is really big. So.
And are all your employees here? Or?
Yes, the girls are downstairs, so I think you heard a big cheer when it was announced. I think that was my 2 girls making all that noise.
What are your plans for tonight?
We're going to the after show party, and then God knows what. I'm just going to celebrate because I'm absolutely delighted.
Can I just say your outfit is fantastic. Where is it from?
This is from Previously Loved. This is a men's tuxedo from Mr. Previously, a vintage tuxedo shirt which I wore in the 80s, and this is a 1930s bow tie.
Well, congratulations and enjoy your night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kathy, as organiser of Belfast Fashion Week, how did it all go?
Well, I think it was a huge success. I mean, we're already hearing from all the retailers who took part that they're absolutely delighted with how the show went. The clothes looked fantastic on the catwalk. The models were amazing, pretty slick as usual. Sorry, that sounds very boastful. But, I'm very pleased with how it went. We think it was amazing.
Where did the idea come to set up the whole Belfast Fashion Week?
Well, I was doing work with lots of retailers on an individual basis, and then kind of talked to them about the possibility of, gaining momentum by working together. And they were a bit reticent at first, I have to say, because they were kind of showing at the same time as their peers. And anyway, so we just took the concept a little bit further, and we started off. A few of them had faith in me, and then it's kind of grown from there. We've had huge success. Well, I suppose really the only obstacle was about, getting the sponsorship and the involvement of the retailers in the beginning. It's a new concept. Fashion weeks in London, Paris, Milan and New York are all about showing 6 months in advance, showing a season ahead. And they're essentially trade events where designers showcase to retailers. But Belfast Fashion Week's actually a consumer-focused event, and the clothes are available to buy right now. So what you see in the catwalk tonight by French Connection, you can pop into the shop tomorrow and buy it there and then.
And because of its popularity each year, do you feel that now Belfast has no longer been overlooked compared to fashion weeks in London and Dublin?
Well, I think, we've had MTV Style come over here and film. We've had Sky. We've had lots of coverage all around the world. We've been in Vogue and Hello, for, included. And it's little old Belfast. But we do spend more per capita on fashion and clothing than any other part of the UK or Ireland here in Northern Ireland. And, I think it's a great thing. We love getting dressed up to go out. And, I just think it's a really nice thing to celebrate style in our city.
And what would you hope to achieve for Belfast Fashion Week in the future?
Well, we can only grow and get bigger and better, I suppose, without, again, trying to sound boastful. But, it's just it's a lovely event. I just want to keep the momentum up, and I just want retailers to be able to engage with their customers in a different way, because it's not all about, putting clothes on a rail anymore. It's about engaging with your customers, giving them an experience, showing them what happens, how they can wear the looks and things, and, creating that buzz and excitement around fashion, which comes with a fashion show.
Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your night, and thank you very much for such a fabulous week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.